You can feel it, can't you? Just when it seemed like things were starting to quiet down, another interesting storyline is beginning to take shape. Some moves that might not grab the national headlines today could end up having a much bigger impact than people expect a few months from now. And the more you look at what's happening behind the scenes, the more it feels like this team is quietly setting up something worth paying attention to. There are a few names generating buzz, some tough roster battles already taking form, and one big question that could have a major effect on the future of this offense. The interesting part? Most fans aren't even talking about it yet. But once you connect all the dots, you start to see why this could become one of the most important stories to watch throughout the offseason. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button if you're excited for Vikings football, and drop a SKOL down in the comments if you're riding with this team all the way this season. Something interesting is already happening inside the Minnesota Vikings organization, and it may be the first visible sign of how the franchise plans to build depth under newly appointed executive Nolan Teasley. While most fans are focused on the established stars, a pair of relatively unknown wide receivers have quietly entered the picture, and their arrival could tell us a lot about the direction Minnesota wants to take heading into the next phase of roster construction. The Vikings have officially added wide receivers Michael Briscoe and Trayvon Rudolph to the roster after both initially entered the NFL as undrafted free agents with the Seattle Seahawks. The connection is impossible to ignore. Before arriving in Minnesota, Nolan Teasley worked in Seattle's front office, and now two players who began their professional journey there are making their way to the Vikings organization. This is exactly the type of move that often flies under the radar during the offseason. Most fans see undrafted signings and immediately assume they are camp bodies or practice squad candidates. In many cases, that ends up being true. But every now and then, one of these overlooked acquisitions develops into something much bigger. That possibility is what makes these moves worth watching. The significance here is not simply the addition of two receivers. The bigger story is that we are already seeing evidence of Teasley's influence. Front office executives spend years evaluating prospects, building scouting reports, and identifying players they believe are undervalued. When they move to a new organization, they often bring those evaluations with them. The arrival of Briscoe and Rudolph suggests there may have been players Teasley liked during the pre-draft process who never received the opportunities he believed they deserved. Michael Briscoe arrives with intriguing production from his collegiate career. Standing 6'2" and weighing approximately 205 pounds, he offers a physical profile that immediately stands out. Across his college career, he recorded 87 receptions, accumulated more than 1,700 receiving yards, averaged an impressive 20.4 yards per catch, and scored 15 touchdowns. Those numbers paint the picture of a receiver capable of creating explosive plays down the field. Whenever a receiver averages more than 20 yards per reception over an extended period, scouts pay attention. It suggests a player who can stretch defenses, win vertically, and generate chunk plays. Whether that translates to the NFL remains to be seen, but the raw traits are certainly worth developing. Trayvon Rudolph presents a very different profile. Unlike Briscoe, Rudolph is not built around size and physicality. At approximately 5'10", he brings a different skill set to the position. During his college career, Rudolph accumulated 192 receptions, surpassed 2,400 receiving yards, averaged just under 13 yards per catch, and found the end zone 12 times. He began his collegiate career at Northern Illinois and demonstrated the ability to consistently generate catches and move the chains. The contrast between the two players is fascinating. One offers size and big play potential. The other brings volume production and versatility. For a coaching staff evaluating the bottom portion of the roster, having different skill sets competing for opportunities creates valuable competition throughout training camp and preseason. Their arrival also coincides with a roster change on the other side of the equation. The Vikings waived wide receiver Jashawn Jones as part of the corresponding move, opening space for new competition at the position. But here's where the story becomes even more interesting. Despite the addition of Briscoe and Rudolph, the battle for the final receiver spots may already have a surprise favorite. One name continues to generate buzz inside Vikings circles: Dillon Bell. According to reports from Vikings off-season activities, Bell attracted significant attention during practice. Observers noted that quarterbacks consistently found him, and his presence was difficult to ignore throughout the session. That matters because opportunities during OTAs can often provide an early indication of which young players are earning trust from coaches and quarterbacks. Bell's appeal comes from his versatility. During his time at Georgia, he was utilized in multiple ways. He could contribute on jet sweeps, line up in different alignments, operate in screen concepts, and even take handoffs from the backfield. While questions remain regarding the sophistication of his route tree, his ability to function as a gadget weapon creates intriguing possibilities within Kevin O'Connell's offensive system. That versatility is especially noteworthy because Minnesota has not consistently featured that type of offensive chess piece in recent seasons. A player who can move around the formation and create matchup problems gives an offense another dimension. If Bell continues to impress, the competition for the final receiver spot could become one of the most compelling battles of training camp. And when you look at the projected depth chart, the challenge becomes clear. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jawan Jennings, Ty Felton, and Miles Price are among the names competing for roles, leaving only limited opportunities for newcomers to force their way onto the roster. Still, every summer produces at least one surprise. The Vikings have a history of uncovering contributors in unexpected places, and that is exactly why these developments deserve attention. The arrival of Michael Briscoe and Trayvon Rudolph may look minor today, but sometimes the first clues to a larger story appear long before anyone realizes their importance. And now, I want to hear directly from you, Vikings fans. Do you believe Jordan Addison is worth a contract worth $30 million per year? Or would you wait before making that kind of commitment? Drop your opinion in the comments below, because this debate is only going to get bigger as the off-season continues. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want the latest Vikings news, roster updates, training camp battles, and exclusive analysis every single day, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and as always, SKOL Vikings.